Hello everyone, I'm in Miami and today I would like to talk to you a little bit about my rental car for the last fortnight and my guilty pleasure, the Chevrolet Corvette. So first things first, I want to apologise for doing this video in the YouTuber style that I love so much, but we have no proper camera kit with us because it won't fit in the baggage. And also I apologise for doing this video with sunglasses on, as any good cameraman or artist will tell you, the eyes are the window into the soul, and I think it's very important to not wear glasses when doing any sort of photography, but I caught the sun a little bit, and very bright out here, and as I don't want you guys spending the entire video laughing at my terrible panda eyes, I'm going to keep these on. So I'm going to bore you for a minute with my background on the Corvette and how this car basically changed my opinion of American cars. Up till about 4 years ago, if you'd asked me to list my least favourite sports cars, Corvette would be right high on that list. You know, as a Lotus owner, I get to deal all the time with stereotypes, both wrong and right, and the stereotype in my mind of basically any American car was that they were cheaply made, poorly put together, had nasty interiors, were not actually that fast, had horrible auto gearboxes, and could not handle to save their lives. Cars especially like the C4 Corvette, I don't like, and in fact I know that car, the ZR1 version, has a Lotus connection, but that can't save it in my mind. So about 3.5 years ago, I was at a charity driving day. I was in a 911 C4 996, and it was one of these days where basically people come along and they pay £20–30 and it goes to a children's charity, and they get whipped around an airfield a few times in a fast car of their choosing. And there was a guy there with a C6 Z06, and I went and had a chat with him, and he explained to me a little bit about that car and stuff, and it sounded interesting. Certainly the 7-litre 500 horsepower engine got my attention, and he talked a little bit about the people's misconceptions of the car, and how it's a lot better than people think, and etc etc etc. So I went out in his car, he went out in my car, and I gotta say it was an incredible experience. That thing is so fast, that engine is a masterpiece. It still had a few problems, the interior especially was just a bit like, ugh, it was pretty horrible, pretty cheap. Now when the C7 Vet came out, I thought, wow, what a good looking car. But being in England, we just don't have them, so I never really saw one. And 2 years ago, I was going out to California, and I was on my own. Things had gone a little bit wrong. I wasn't supposed to be on my own, but anyway, long story short, I'd booked a convertible Mustang because, I don't even like the Mustang that much, or I didn't, and I definitely don't like convertibles. But I was in California, so when in Rome, etc. I got there, pulled up at the rental car place, which was Alamo, and they had this black C7 convertible and yellow C7 coupe, and they looked awesome. The yellow coupe in particular, oh my god, such a nice car. So I went in there and said, look, just humour me, how much would it be to upgrade to the Vet? I expected it would be a fortune, and it actually worked out pretty cheap. It was like $100-something a day, and I could keep it for the rest of that week before I went to San Francisco. So I did, and just fell in love with the car. But I wasn't doing the channel back then, so I didn't really take many pictures of the car at all. So I thought if I ever come back to America, if I can, I'd like to get one. So coming out here with Mum, we'd booked again a convertible Mustang / Camaro / whatever they had. And then when we got here, we saw there the Corvette, said how much is it going to be, and it worked out at about $60-something a day to upgrade. So it's just a no-brainer. I mean, that's just a fantastic deal. So we went with it, and basically now I'm going to talk to you about this car, show you around a little bit. I'm afraid it's a little bit of a wibbly-wobbly video because all of my tripod and stuff just doesn't fit in the case, and it's just little old me. So no driving or stuff, but talk you through this car. So this is a 2017 C7 Corvette convertible. Unfortunately, they did not have any coupes about. Considering the fact that the regular car has a removable targa top anyway, all you really lose with a convertible is the looks of the thing and a lot of boot space. In my mind, there's no real reason that you would ever buy the convertible, unless of course you were too lazy to remove and put on the convertible roof. But then I guess we are in Florida, so that probably explains a lot. So given the fact that, like all convertibles, this car looks way better with the roof down, I'm going to retract the roof and show you the roof retraction procedure. So It's pretty neat, pretty slick. You can do this at low speeds as well. It all folds up, tucks itself away, and goes back in like so. And then the car looks pretty tidy with the roof down. I'm trying to run over here because I'm filming outside our accommodation. So it looks a lot better, I think. Oh yeah, I'm pressing buttons. Stop it. So no number plate on the front of this because we're in Florida and apparently it's not a legal requirement here. So this is racing yellow, has chrome wheels, which is very American. Fairly big boots on it as well, 245 fronts, 285 rears, Michelin Pilot Super Sports, which are the same as the Aurora, which I really like. Now the interior of this car really surprised me when I got in it because, okay, it's not the best interior in the entire world, but neither is it the worst. Given the reputation American cars have, people have put some serious effort. I know that it was one of Chevrolet's aims of this car was to make a much nicer interior, so you get this flashy, fancy screen that kind of pops up here and tells you all sorts of shit. You've got a dial down here, a dial, a screen, and all of your different bits down here. This car is equipped with the 8-speed auto gearbox, which being a rental I think they all probably are. And the gearbox is something of an Achilles heel of the car. It does sound quite nice when you start it up, and there are about a million options in the menu. A bong for every occasion. You have reached your destination on the right-hand side. Thank you, car. So, all sorts of stuff, obviously, you know, AC is standard. This is a 3LT, which is the sort of top model that they do. So you got plenty of leather and stuff everywhere. You got Bose sound system, which is great. Dual zone climate control. You've got pretty fully functional setup here. This system here is so close to being great, but it's annoying because it's a touch screen, but it's just a little bit slow when you want to do stuff. It's not quite as responsive as I would like it to be, and it's just a little slow. If you are trying to use this as you move along, which I know you're not meant to, it is quite difficult. This car has plenty of cameras on it. It also has a performance data recorder, which is a sort of fully functional kind of thing. So basically it will overlay all of these different functions. It's got cameras in here, and if you're on a track you will be able to see all sorts of information laid over your laps. So you're not really allowed to use these sorts of things at most UK circuits because it's technically lap timing. But if you know you're a serious track day enthusiast and you want to see how you're doing, that's going to be very helpful. There are paddles, of course, for the gears. They're okay. Now there is a mode switch down here. So you have 5 modes basically. You have, starting at the slowest, you have winter, then you have eco, then you have tour, you have sport, and you have track. Now these adjust a few different parameters. So the idea is that these adjust your throttle response, they adjust your steering weight, they adjust the exhaust, they adjust the suspension, and they adjust how the gearbox behaves, and probably the traction control as well. In reality, there's nowhere near a big enough difference between them as there should be, which is kind of annoying. And the gearbox is a weak link in this car. I've never driven a manual one of these, and I would love to, but the problem is it's got 8 speeds, top is geared for a squillion miles an hour, and whatever mode you're in, even if you're in track, all this gearbox does is try and get you into the top gear as quick as you can. So you're doing like 1500 RPM driving along at whatever speed, and the moment you want in track mode, in my opinion, the gears should always be at like 2,500–3,000 RPM, so when you put your boot down you've just got loads and loads of performance. And yeah, but it's track mode, you know, track, you've got one aim, that's to go as fast as you can and screw everything else. You know, you're not saving fuel or anything on track, so that's just frustrating. And in manual mode the gear shifts just, they're not good enough, just not good enough, which is a shame. You know, this is one of the areas where this car is still quite far behind its European rivals, especially stuff like Porsche, BMW, etc. With double clutch gearboxes, this is nowhere near as good as those, and it isn't even the best auto box that I've used. So everything in here is electric, as you would of course expect. So all of the steering wheel is electric, the seat adjustment is electric, and there's about a million different adjustments for that. You've got memory seats and things. You got sort of slightly chromy switches here. Got all your adjustments. There is a heads-up display, which is great, which actually I probably need to turn the engine back on to show you. So, trying to work out if I can even see it. So you can kind of see it there. It'll be flashing because it's not synced with the shutter speed of the camera. There you go. So that's a little bit better, hopefully, so you can see it more obviously. And you can choose what information you get on that screen. So you can have it in sort of more sporty or more relaxed modes, or just sort of simple stuff. So that one there, you would have seen it had a G meter on it. So you can basically see what G's you're pulling through the corner. You move it up and down, of course, and make it brighter and darker. And that's nice. I like having that, especially when I'm in a foreign country and basically I don't know what I'm doing. That just, you know, means I'm looking that way more than that way, which is always good. Car has a Bose sound system as standard in this trim level, which is great. You know, something I really like about American cars is that they accept and appreciate the fact that, you know, good sound system is pretty nice to have. You know, I get a lot of flack from the Lotus guys for saying, you know, how important a nice sound system is, but it seems over here, if you want to sell a car, you need to put one in. There are little subwoofers behind each seat. There are plenty of speakers in the door and everywhere else. It's pretty quiet with the roof up. It's a little bit cramped. Generally, it is quite cramped in here. That's something I didn't really notice last time, but I did notice this time. I don't think I put on that much weight. The seats are just not quite supportive enough, not quite wide enough. I don't know, maybe it's something to do with this big transmission tunnel in the middle. When I do a Corvette and Evora video, I'll point this out to you. Generally though, the Corvette just surprised me. It doesn't make the nicest of all noises. It's great when it starts up and when you're sort of rumbling around, but when you put your foot down, it just sort of is more of the same noise. The exhaust is a bit weird, considering how big it is and how many there are. I'm going to show you also the boot, and I'm going to show you under the hood as well. Electric door releases, which, to be honest, give me a bit of a nightmare. I mean, you know, this is a well put together car, so they're probably never going to break, but having known a few people with TVRs have the odd issue, it's something that does give me a tiny bit of concern. Let's look at the exciting end first. So this is a pretty new engine from Chevrolet. This is called the LT1, I believe. Very compact, thanks to the old sort of, people call it old-fashioned, and I suppose it technically is, but it's a cam in block design, so it's push rod, but still revs to sort of 6.5 grand. And it's 6.2 litre, 450 horsepower, 450 pound-foot of torque, and basically the way they've designed it means that this engine, compared to the old Mercedes 6.2 litre V8, is something like 6 inches shorter, so that's a pretty useful space saving. So pulls air in from the front. And yeah, it's a nice tidy looking engine bay, and you can also see that the engine is effectively mid-mounted. So there's your axle line, and the engine is, that's axle line. Engine is pretty much entirely behind the front axle, so this would be a front mid-engined car technically. At the back, because this is the convertible, space is bit limited, but it's not hideous. For day-to-day duties it's fine. Being on holiday, getting the bags in here, it is a bit of a struggle. You can pull this bit down, and when the roof is up you get extra stowage, which is basically the only way that we've been actually able to make this kind of work. So yeah, at the back the car ditches the traditional 4 round headlights that Corvettes always had. Soft closed boot, by the way, which is interesting. So I quite like the new design. To be honest, I like the direction they've gone in. Whether they'll stay that way or not, I don't know. But yeah, the car goes, basically the car is not, I think it's a car that I fell in love with because it just surprised me at how well it did most things. Yeah, it goes really nicely, it sounds pretty good, it's reasonably comfy, although the seats aren't perfect, but you can get sport seats, which I reckon I probably would like a lot more. And yeah, great sound system. You know, having the roof down. I love cars with a targa top especially, and that's just something that's far too rare now. So it's got a lot of ingredients that I kind of like in a car. I just wish that Chevy would make the damn thing in right-hand drive. But yeah, I do like the Corvette. As a handling and driving car, I just can't find the roads around here that I really do justice with it. You know, it's fun in a straight line. I don't doubt that it is going to be quick around track. You can also, of course, buy the Grand Sport or the Z06 if you want to go really, really, really fast. But yeah, as a standard car, I love this. For the money that they ask for this car over here, it's incredible. It's a really, really nice car. And the other thing as well that I do really, really like about this car, that will be familiar to Lotus owners, when I'm in America at least, when you're driving around in a Corvette, you're basically part of the Vette family. It's great. You know, the number of people that I've started conversations with just while driving on the freeway, or, you know, when you pull up somewhere, or if anyone else has got a Vette, you can pretty much go up and talk to them. And that's just like having a Lotus. That's really, really nice. I can't think of many other car brands, certainly not in England, where, you know, just by having one of these cars, you can go up and just chat to someone. Now, if you had a Corvette in England and you found someone else with a Corvette, then I'm sure you could chat to them, because, well, it's a pretty rare thing to happen. Over here, it just happens all the time. But the number of waves and hey there and how y'all doing and all that stuff that I got here was just great. So that's really nice, and they're kind of real proper petrol heads over here. You know, I didn't really get too many people sort of sneering at me for killing the environment with my fancy big V8. So yeah, it's a cool car. It's nice. It feels very well put together. You know, got to give Chevrolet credit for that. It's a car that I think America can rightly be proud of. You know, I don't feel the same way about many other cars. I definitely don't feel the way about the regular Camaro V6 that I got given the last time I was out in the USA. I got a V6 convertible Camaro and I just didn't like that at all. And I'm going to be out in America again in about 5 or 6 weeks in California, and I don't have very much budget at all for that trip, so I'm going to be renting the cheapest thing they've got, and that's going to be about as far away as you can get from there. So look out for a video on that one, because it should be eye-opening. Thank you guys for watching. There'll be more stuff from America hopefully soonish. I mean, by the time you've seen this, I'll be home anyway and editing stuff together. So thanks for watching. If you want to tell me anything that I've got wrong about the Corvette, because it's very possible, or if you are a Vette owner or whatever, then yeah, right below, like, subscribe, do that thing you do, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks now.